Russia is no longer hiding it. Putin just signed a decree to expand the army by 170,000 troops. They're not preparing for peace, they're preparing for war. And the West, still pretending it's not happening. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. On July 30th, 2025, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree to increase the size of the Russian armed forces by an additional 170,000 troops, bringing the total force to over 2.2 million, with nearly 1.3 million frontline combat soldiers. Source: TASS, Russian state news agency. But that's just the surface. According to the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, by mid-July, Russia had already been accelerating recruitment, building new training facilities, and expanding supply stations in Belgorod, just miles from the Ukrainian border. U.S. defense analyst Michael Kaufman, from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, said, "Putin is no longer hiding anything. Russia is shifting its entire national infrastructure into wartime, not just the military, but the economy and society itself." Russia's defense budget for 2025 has now increased by 68% compared to 2023, surpassing $130 billion, the highest level since the Cold War. This is not a short operation. Russia is preparing for a long-term war, with more soldiers, heavier equipment, and deeper strategy. This is no longer a special military operation. Putin is turning the entire nation into a war machine. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Moscow, August 2nd, 2025. According to the Moscow Times, a leaked document from the Russian Ministry of Defense reveals that President Vladimir Putin has signed a classified directive. The order calls for a rapid acceleration of weapons production, including artillery shells, drones, and electronic warfare systems. The directive was reportedly signed on July 29th and sent to more than 13 major defense factories across Russia, especially in the regions of Sverdlovsk, Tula, and Kaluga. A senior official from the Ministry of Industry and Trade speaking to Reuters on August 2nd confirmed the urgency of the situation. He stated, "This isn't just about defense readiness, this is preparation for a much larger conflict." Meanwhile, the Russian newspaper Izvestia reported that over 12,000 engineers and military technicians have been recalled to military production lines. The Kremlin has allocated an additional $5.3 billion specifically for military manufacturing in August alone. So how is the United States reacting? General John B. Richardson, commander of U.S. European Command, told CNN on August 3rd, "We're seeing very clear signs that Russia isn't just aiming to hold Donbass, they want to shift the entire balance of power in Europe." But perhaps the most alarming detail came from the battlefield. Footage posted by the Telegram channel Rybar shows Iskander-M missile systems and T-90 tanks being transported by train from Siberia toward Belarus. This move suggests that Russia is preparing to expand the battlefield far beyond Ukrainian territory. The conclusion is clear. Putin is no longer hiding his intentions. He is moving from defense to full-scale offense, and he's doing it at a pace far faster than in early 2022. Now, the world stands on the brink of something far more dangerous. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. August 3rd, 2025. In an exclusive report from the Wall Street Journal, U.S. intelligence agencies have detected unusual activity at the Tias air base in central Syria, also known as T4. This base, which houses both Iranian and Russian units, has become a focal point of increased concern. According to senior officials, Russia is quietly deploying S-300 and S-400 air defense systems, not to protect Damascus, but to monitor and potentially control the airspace near Israel's northern border. At the same time, Israel's own intelligence services confirmed the deployment. But what worried them even more was the growing cooperation between Russian and Iranian forces across Syria. In an interview published by Haaretz, A senior Israeli officer stated, "We believe Moscow and Tehran are attempting to establish a military corridor stretching from Iran, through Iraq and Syria, all the way to Lebanon. If that corridor is completed, Israel would be surrounded from 3 directions." Later that same evening, a series of unidentified airstrikes hit the T-4 base and nearby weapons depots in Homs province. Israel did not comment. But according to Al Arabiya, the strikes were likely a joint operation between Israeli intelligence and the Israeli Air Force, meant to disrupt the Russian air defense installations before they become operational. More alarmingly, American intelligence believes that Iran has already transferred a number of suicide drones into Syria last week, the same type of drones used to strike U.S. bases in Iraq back in 2023. If Russia provides navigation systems and radar integration, those drones could target Israeli territory, or even American military positions inside Jordan. On August 4th, U.S. Defense Department spokesman Patrick Ryder told CNN, "We are closely monitoring the strategic changes taking place inside Syria. The United States will not allow a hostile military axis to form right on Israel's doorstep." In short, while Russia prepares its offense from the rear, the United States and Israel are pushing back directly at the front. Syria, once a proxy war zone, is now becoming a direct battlefield between East and West. And for the first time in years, the shadows are moving, long before the armies do. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. August 4th, 2025. According to Reuters, China and Russia have launched a large-scale joint naval drill in the southern waters of the South China Sea, near the disputed Spratly Islands. The operation, officially named Joint Strategic Coordination 2025, includes at least 7 warships, 4 Chinese H-6K strategic bombers, and 1 Russian Kilo-class attack submarine. The South China Morning Post reports this is the largest naval exercise between Russia and China in the past 3 years, and for the first time, it is being conducted close to critical shipping lanes frequently patrolled by the U.S. and its allies. The Chinese Defense Ministry released a statement, calmly. This exercise is not aimed at any specific country. Its purpose is to enhance coordination between friendly forces. But behind the diplomatic language, there is growing regional anxiety. On the same day, the Philippines summoned the Chinese ambassador in Manila to protest the military presence inside their exclusive economic zone. Then, on August 5th, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin spoke in Hawaii, assertive. "We are closely monitoring all movements by China and Russia in the South China Sea. Any attempt to change the status quo will be met with a proportional response." Meanwhile, Japan and Australia have jointly filed a protest to the United Nations, calling the drill a serious threat to freedom of navigation and regional stability. Defense analysts warn that Russia and China may be testing the West, trying to stretch U.S. military focus across multiple fronts. If Washington becomes bogged down in both Europe and the Middle East, Putin could launch a surprise offensive in Eastern Europe, while Beijing increases pressure on Taiwan or the Philippines. The question now is clear. Is the South China Sea becoming the next trigger point in a war that's already forming from the shadows? If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. On August 1st, 2025, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced the deployment of additional Iskander-M missile systems and S-400 air defense systems to the Kaliningrad region, a strategic enclave between Poland and Lithuania. According to RIA Novosti, this move is seen as a direct response to NATO's recent military buildup in the Baltic region over the past few weeks. Russia's defense minister, Andrei Belousov, stated, "Determined, We will not allow any act of provocation to threaten our national security. Military experts from the Moscow Times describe Kaliningrad as an unsinkable aircraft carrier for Russia in Europe, warning that reinforcing weaponry here could rapidly escalate tensions with NATO. NATO has not yet issued an official response, but sources cited by Politico indicate that the alliance is considering sending additional warships and surveillance aircraft to the Baltic Sea region. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. On August 2, 2025, the Russian Pacific Fleet and the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy began a large-scale joint naval exercise in the Sea of Japan. According to TASS news agency, the drills involve over 20 warships, 10 aircraft, and several submarines from both nations. Russia's Navy commander, Admiral Nikolai Evmenov, emphasized that the operation is aimed at enhancing interoperability and ensuring maritime security in the Asia-Pacific. Meanwhile, China's Ministry of Defense, quoted by Xinhua News, stated that the exercises also serve to safeguard regional stability and counter external interference. Analysts from the Japan Times warn that this display of force sends a clear signal to the United States and its allies, particularly as tensions rise over Taiwan and Ukraine. The drills are scheduled to last 5 days, with live-fire exercises planned in disputed waters, a move that could trigger diplomatic protests from Japan. You've been watching True Talk, where truth speaks louder than the noise. Stay aware, stay prepared.